Hi, I'm Anthony from Learning to Play the Guitar. In this video I'm going to teach you about how to use the minor and major pentatonic scales to create licks and fills within your rhythm guitar playing. The two most commonly used scales on guitar in rock, blues, country and folk music are the major and minor pentatonic scales. The great thing about the major and the minor 5-note pentatonic scale is that they use the same note. So for example, the G major and the E minor pentatonic scales both use the same notes of G, A, B, D and E. So the scale patterns on the guitar fretboard are the same for the E minor pentatonic, so you simply start on the E note, and for the G minor pentatonic, which you then start on the G note, which is this one here. So for example, further, we'll play to get the context of it. So we've got E minor and the E minor pentatonic. And then in comparison, same notes, but we're going to take it from G, so here's the G chord, and the G major pentatonic. So that's the idea of how you can hear the difference between the two. So before I played the E minor pentatonic scale after an E minor chord, and I finished with the E minor chord, so you could hear that minor sound, and I started on the E note as well to emphasize that. With the G one, I started on the G note with the G chord at the beginning and the end, and that gave it more of that happy sort of country sounding vibe. To me, I think of the minor pentatonic sounding like the blues and the major pentatonic sounding like country music. So what I'm going to do further is now we're going to incorporate this particular scales into two different versions of songs that are very similar in terms of what the rhythm and the licks will be, but they'll sound quite different. So the first one I'm going to do here is a G major pentatonic song using the G major pentatonic scale, of course, but just the chords with some variations of G, D, C and E minor. So I'll slowly run through what I was doing there. So basically the first bar here we have G, I'm just going to strum down and up, and then this little hammer-on lick using the scale. So I've got to cross the two strings, so hammer on down on the A string, up on an open D, hammer on down on the E string, up on open G. And these little country licks, as I love to call them, they're really handy for things around G chords and things like that, songs in the key of G of course. And then we had a D sus4, up with the normal D, up, down, up, E minor 7 with the pair. So these chords here, I'm going to go down, down, up, down, up, the pair off. You can sort of cheat a little bit and jump early if you need to, then get to our C add 9, which we mentioned previously before, 2 fingers down the bottom, and we're going to go down, down, up. And now I'm going to do a hammer on lick again, but backwards from what I had before. So hammer on down on the D string, open G, hammer on down on the A string, fret 2, open D. So that's part of the E minor pentatonic scale pattern again. Then we're going to jump to the G again, second half, and then I'm just going to pick down the scale from the G though. That's just that little fill there, and D sus4 again, and down, down, up to a normal D, and again this little hammer on lick, but in the middle, hammering on the D string, open G, E and a D on the end there, doing that particular thing. And the C add 9 again, down, down, up. And then I'm going to take my little finger off just to vary it slightly, up, down, up, normal D, down, down, up, and then a hammer on, keep my fingers there if you like, hammer on the G, and then number 3 is part of that scale, to G, and you can chuck a G chord on the end if you want, either variation of G. So that was very country sounding with the G major pentatonic scale for a little song in G. So the next one I'm going to do is almost the same strumming, but I'm going to change the chords around and the licks slightly, but it'd be the same scale. We're going to do an E minor pentatonic song, or sort of more of an E blues really. So with some dominant 7 chords thrown in, but it'll sound a lot bluesy, while that one obviously sounded very country.